Very good morning to all of you, and let's continue our chapter, that is democratic resurgence. Okay, in our last class, in our previous classes, we have already discussed about Jayaprakash Narayan, Ram Manohar Lohia and Deen Dayal Upadhyay. We have started this chapter before your midterm examination. Okay, so there are only three topics which we have completed, and if in case you are not able to watch that video, then you can go through your printout. Okay, the added portion, the three added portion, Jayaprakash Narayan, Ram Manohar Lohia and Deen Dayal Upadhyay. You will find out those portion in your printouts. Please go through your printout, you will understand everything. Okay, and today we will discuss about a national emergency. Why the Indira Gandhi's government declared national emergency, and that during 1970s. And national emergency that national emergency was in India for almost 2 years. Okay, so what were the reason behind that national emergency? Why the Indira Gandhi? Because at that time we have our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Okay, she has declared that national emergency. So what was the reason behind that declaration of national emergency? We will discuss today. Okay, I have sent you one photographs for this national emergency in order to make you understand the context of the emergency. I hope all of you have read that photos, right? There were few points has been given over there, and I think all of you have read that. So we will discuss this national emergency, the context of national emergency from that portion only. Okay, from that photographs only. So first point, the first reason behind the declaration of national emergency was conflict with judiciary. During that time, the judiciary and the parliament in the Indian government, Indira Gandhi's government, did not have a very good relationship. The situation was tensed during that time. The relationship between the judiciary and the government was tensed. Many initiatives of central government were declared as violation of the constitution by the Supreme Court. During that time, we have discussed this point in class 11 also. I told you that right to property, that was one of the fundamental right. Okay, and that right has been removed from the constitution, or removed from the fundamental rights, right to property. During that time, Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, and she took that decision to remove right to property from fundamental right, and the Supreme Court was not happy with this decision. Supreme Court says that Parliament does not have any power to marginalize the fundamental rights, but the Indira Gandhi's government or the Parliament took that decision, and because of that decision, the Parliament and the Indira Gandhi's government and the judiciary did not have a very good relationship. There was another case also, that is case of Nanda Bharati case. So this case also added fuel to the relationship. Because of this, both the judiciary and the government did not have a very good relationship. Okay, so this is one of the important reason for the declaration of emergency. Okay, you just have to keep in mind, first reason was a problem between judiciary and the government. Second reason was that economic situation. At that time in India, the economic situation was very, very bad. Okay, Indira Gandhi won the election with the slogan Garibi Hatao. Okay, that time Congress adopted this slogan. Okay, and the economic situation of the country worsened during 1972 to 1973. And during that time, after winning the election, the economic condition worsened. Okay, she was saying that Garibi Hatao, we have to remove poverty, but because of that poverty only, the economic condition became worse during that period. Another economic condition was that during that period only, India and Pakistan have a war. Okay, Indo-Pak War of 1971. That time USA has supported Pakistan and not India, and because of that war, US government put an end to all the foreign aid being extended to India by the USA. So after that, USA's government, they did not wanted to help India economically. Okay. Third point is, with global increase in the price of crude oil, there was an unexpected inflation in the country. When the price of the oil rises, automatically economic condition worsen. So that was another reason. Again, the situation further worsened due to the increase in price of food grains due to the failure of monsoon for 2 consecutive years. You must have remembered famine during that time only. Okay, so because of monsoon, okay, there was no rainy season during that time. There was no rainfall, and because of that reason, whatever prices were there of the food grains, that has been rises. So people cannot afford to buy food grains because of high price. That was another reason. Okay, economic reason. There was unprecedented fall in industrial productivity and increase in employment during that period. Okay, Indian government during that time, a 5-year plan was also in practice. Okay, so the government mainly focused on agriculture and not the industry. So because of that, industrial productivity has been fall during that time, and people, the common people, they have to suffer unemployment problem. So that was another reason. So we have discussed two. One is judiciary, a problem with judiciary and the government, and second one is economic situation. In economic situation, first point was Garibi Hatao. The Congress has adopted that slogan, Garibi Hatao, but the economic situation worsened during that period only. Indo-Pak War has been fought, and USA was in support of Pakistan, and USA has stopped aiding India. That time only the prices of the oil has risen up, so automatically economic situation fall down, and because of monsoon for 2 consecutive years, the food prices of the food grains has been rises up. Okay, and industrial production fall down, and the people have to suffer unemployment problem. So these are the points for economic situation. Economically, India was very, very poor that time. Okay, economic condition was another reason. This is everything has been happened during Indira Gandhi's government after winning the election. Now, this the problem with judiciary, Indira Gandhi has to face that problem. Okay, situation was very, very tensed during that period. Only economic condition was worsened in India, and during people started revolt against the government. So another reason was student movement, and the students have started their movement because of economic condition of India. Indira Gandhi said that I will give you job. There will be no unemployment problem. There will be no poverty. But we have discussed economic condition, right? Economic situation has been worsened from period 1972 to 1973. And because of that, students started their movement. The student-led protest movement against the increasing prices of food grains in the then Congress-ruled states of Gujarat and Bihar. In basically 2 states, that is Gujarat and Bihar, student led the movement against the government because of the high price of food grains. The movement started in January 1974 in Gujarat and March in 1974 in Bihar. Okay, in the same year, in 1974, one movement was started in Gujarat, that is in January, and the another movement was started in Bihar, that is in March. Okay, so these are the movements started by the students like you all. That time, Jayaprakash Narayan was later invited to join the movement who united such student movement across the country. That student movement, the people started to follow that student movement all over India, and Jayaprakash Narayan was invited to lead the movement. So, because of him, because of Jayaprakash Narayan, every other people, every common people all over India had supported this students movement. His principle, Jayaprakash Narayan is known for three contributions: fight against corruption, principle of communitarian socialism, and campaigning of total revolution. We have discussed about Jayaprakash Narayan, right? So he basically fought against his priorities during that time was to fight against corruption. He wanted to fight against corruption. Okay, because in politics we know that corruption is there. So Jayaprakash always wanted to fight against corruption, and he always followed the principle of socialism. Everyone should be equal. And another is total revolution. He wanted to have a total revolution in India. Revolution means change, total change. This is the reason the students of Bihar and Gujarat, they invited Jayaprakash Narayan to lead the movement. Okay, and because of Jayaprakash Narayan, all the common people have joined this movement. And during that period when Jayaprakash Narayan was leading this movement, he campaigned against, fight against corruption, principle of communitarian socialism, and total revolution. His principle of communitarian socialism views India as a society of communities encompassing three key layers, that is community, region, and Rashtra, all combining together as an example of true federation. The essence of transformation, according to Jayaprakash Narayan, revolves around man, who could be the real catalyst of change in India. So Jayaprakash Narayan's principle, that has the key principle is a principle that was followed, the three key layers, that is community, region, and Rashtra. One is community, like for example a Bengali community, then a region like a West Bengal, a region, then Rashtra means country. So first of all, we have to have change in our community, in my community. Then we can have change in our region. Then only we can have change in our country. So these are the principles that has been followed by Jayaprakash Narayan to lead the student movement. And because of this only, the common people have participated in the movement. So these are the three important reasons for the declaration of emergency. During Indira Gandhi's government, first judiciary, economic condition, and the student movement. So these three important reasons led the declaration of emergency in India. Now we will discuss about the declaration, how the emergency has been declared. Declaration of emergency. The immediate cause of declaring emergency was the verdict passed by Allahabad High Court in a petition filed by Raj Narayan, who was a rival to Indira Gandhi in Lok Sabha election in 1971. The court has declared the victory of Indira Gandhi as invalid. Okay, so in Allahabad, Allahabad High Court declared one verdict. During that time, a petition has been filed by Raj Narayan. He was against Indira Gandhi. Okay, he was a rival in Indira Gandhi during Lok Sabha election of 1971, and Indira Gandhi won that election. But according to that Raj Narayan, he said that Indira Gandhi's victory as a prime minister was illegal. So that has been written in a petition, and the Allahabad High Court has given the verdict that the victory of Indira Gandhi as invalid. whatever election she has won in the Lok Sabha election, her victory was invalid. That was the verdict given by Allahabad High Court in 1971. Again, Jayaprakash Narayan organized a nationwide satyagraha forcing Indira Gandhi to resign on the basis of verdict of the Allahabad High Court. So, that student movement was going on during that time, and Allahabad court has also given one verdict, and taking that verdict as you can say that Jayaprakash Narayan used that situation very, very wisely. He started a wide satyagraha, nationwide satyagraha, forcing Indira Gandhi to resign. Nation or whoever were involved in that movement, they supported Jayaprakash Narayan, and they were forcing Indira Gandhi to resign from her position on the basis of the verdict given by Allahabad High Court. I hope all of you are understanding my point. Okay, so first is in Allahabad, whoever was Raj Narayan, he was against Indira Gandhi during Lok Sabha election of 1971. He filed a petition against Indira Gandhi, and in Allahabad High Court gave a verdict that Indira Gandhi's position, the victory of Indira Gandhi, was invalid. During the same time, Jayaprakash Narayan uses that verdict and started nationwide satyagraha, and they were forcing Indira Gandhi to resign from her position as a prime minister. Okay, everything has been happened during within 24 hours. Okay, on June 24th, 1975, a situation of national emergency was declared and imposed on the country upon recommendation of Indira Gandhi under Article 352 of the Constitution. So, during that time, in a daytime, Allahabad court has given verdict. During the main time, within 2 to 3 hours after the verdict, Jayaprakash Narayan started nationwide satyagraha, and in the midnight of the same day, Indira Gandhi declared national emergency under Article 352 of the Constitution. This is how the national emergency has been declared in India. Okay, now consequences, result of the emergency. What were the result of the emergency? After the declaration of emergency, the nationwide burns and protests got terminated and banned. Whatever movement was going on during that time, the student movement, Jayaprakash movement, everything has been banned because of emergency. Many leaders of the opposition and other prominent persons were arrested on the ground of preventive detention. Detention means to keep in one place, right? Like you are punishment, as a punishment. So the leader of the opposition parties were also arrested, okay, on the ground of preventive detention. Press censorship was imposed. Press was not allowed to press anything. Okay, no magazines, no newspaper, nothing was there. Everything has been banned. National organization like Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh RSS and Jamaati Islam were banned. So during that time, whatever organizations were there, everything has been banned. RSS and Jamaati Islami, everything were banned. Fundamental rights of the citizens were suspended till the continuance of national emergency. The common people cannot utilize their fundamental rights during the period of national emergency. The Constitution was amended to include that election of President of India, Vice President of India and the Prime Minister of India could not be challenged in any court of law, including the Supreme Court of Law. During that period, during that national emergency period, one amendment has been done in the Constitution that no one can challenge the election of the President, Vice President and the Prime Minister in any court, not even in Supreme Court of India. So Indira Gandhi was very, very clever, right? Because one day before, her position has been declared as invalid by the Allahabad High Court. She declared a national emergency immediately after that verdict. Then during that emergency period, she again amended the constitution that no one can challenge the election of the prime minister, president and the vice president of India. So she was a brave prime minister, right? She took all those decisions within that national emergency. She was also very clever. The 42nd Amendment of the Constitution, controversially also called the Constitution of India, snatched many power from the judiciary and gave overruling rights to the government, along with curtailing the field of fundamental rights of the citizen. So during that time, the 42nd Amendment has been done, and from that amendment, the government took many decision-making power from the judiciary, and that has been given to the Parliament. So these are the consequences of the emergency. Okay, everything has been banned. Fundamental rights cannot be utilized by the common people. Religious organization has been banned. Protest has been banned. Leaders of the opposition parties has been arrested. Okay, press, they were not allowed to press anything, magazines and newspapers and all. Okay, constitution has been amended by the Parliament. No one can question the election of the prime minister, president and the vice president. So these are the consequences, result of the declaration. Now, controversies related to national emergencies. Now, what were the controversies during that period? Controversies of national emergency. Due to different viewpoints of people about the imposition of emergency, it is the most debatable and controversial topic of Indian politics. Okay, because the government of India, first time in the history of India, national emergency has been declared by the Congress government. Okay, so there were so many point of view by different people, by different leaders, by politicians or by idealists, and everyone has their own point of view regarding this national emergency. The emergency gave dictatorial power to the democratically elected government. So if the common people cannot utilize their fundamental rights, then obviously that becomes a dictatorial rule. India is a democratic country, right? So in a democratic country, the government was using dictatorial rule because people were not allowed to question. People were not allowed to have answers. Government was not forced to answer, because in a democratic government, in a democratic country, a government is always accountable to the common people. But because of this national emergency, the government was not accountable. They are not answerable. People cannot utilize their fundamental rights. So this became a dictatorial country. Okay. So these are the controversies of a national emergency. Necessity of a national emergency. What is the necessity of the national emergency? So, the Communist Party of India supported that due to international interference by using students as weapon for destroying democracy of the country, such ban on protest to some extent was necessary. The Communist Party of India during that time, they supported the Congress government. They supported national emergency because they thought that because of the protest, whatever protest was going on, economic condition of the country worsened because of that protest. So this national emergency was very, very necessary during that time. This was the thinking of the Communist Party. The government held the view that the elected government must be allowed to run the country. The parliament says that it's upon them. They can rule the country because they are the elected government. The opposition and the public at large held viewed that dissatisfied people had the right to protest against the politics of the government. To make emergency a success, there were cases reported of mass arrest of political workers, compulsory sterilization for population control, window dressing for relocation of poor, custodial death, tortures, etc. So during that necessary, many people died because of the protest. Many people died because of the arrest of the government. Some people are supporting the national emergency because in all over India, student movement, student protest was going on. People were having a difficult situation, difficult life during that period. Economic condition was very, very bad, right? And everywhere protests were going on, rallies and buns and all, everything was disturbed during that time. So some people says that emergency was necessity of the country during that period, and some said that this was not necessary. This was a dictatorial rule of the country. So I hope all of you have understood this. In our next class, we will discuss about politics after national emergency. So what happened? What were the politics? What politics has been played after national emergency? Okay. Till then, take care.